Pardon the big hat, but real quick thoughts on the Ravens. I've been watching a couple games. I ain't saying nothing yet. But this game with beating the Steelers is a big game. Big game for us. How we won too, because for a minute I felt like that game was lost on the fumble at the what 3 yard line. You know what I'm saying? I felt like the game was lost right there because you lose the opportunity to go up 21-3 on the Steelers. Granted, the week before I think the Steelers came back from 21-0 against the Chiefs. I think, but it's a different thing when you go down again. When you go down 21-0 against your rival, 21-3 against your rivals. That's a lot. You know what I'm saying? And then um, so then I'm also like, all right, Joe, this is okay because they on like the 1 yard line. You know what I'm saying? All right, we just gonna end up switching field. What you know what I'm saying? They're gonna have it, even if it's not a 3-and-out. I'm giving them 8 plays, 7 plays, right? I'm giving them about 7 plays. But no, I think that drive they went down the field and got a touchdown if I'm not mistaken. I was in and out around that time. I think they went. No, they got a field goal. They went and got a field goal because they made it. I want to say they made it 14-6. That's what I want to say they made it. So it you, and then we didn't score again. It was like an 11 point swing. You know what I'm saying? Instead of us getting 7 and going up 21-3, it ended up being 14-14. You know what I'm saying? So it was like an 11 point swing, um, which it is what it is. But then to come back in the second half, because we've been a second half team for a minute. We've been a second half team for a minute. It's just I think our first half was so bad. Oh, but if one time we were a second half team, maybe another time we weren't a second half team. But I think last year we were just dumb in the second half. If I'm not mistaken, that was last year, maybe it was the year before last. But so far we are a great second half team. I think they put the stat up there, 49. We've outscored teams 49-9 in the second half, which is you. You're winning games when you're doing that. You know what I'm saying? That's because you're making great adjustments. And the Ravens made great adjustments. But we 17 yards rushing, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I'm saying? At least win the game. Oh, okay. I'm still watching some highlights. The Bungles joint. But damn, what was I saying? I got sidetracked that easily. 17 yards, at least when it mattered. 17 yards rushing. Um, of course, Antonio Brown's gonna get a touchdown, but we had the better Brown today. You know what I'm saying? Our Brown did better than your Brown. And mine's a big hat. His hat kind of big. I feel like a New York nigga and shit. But I'm from Baltimore. Like, damn. Damn, that sucks for Tyler Eifert, man. That boy is good too. It's crazy. But sorry about that. Um, so yeah, of course Brown's he gonna get his joints. Then we had the better Brown, like I said. We had a better Brown today. And our defense, man, like Mosley, our defense can only get better, right? So as long as Jimmy Smith, who is coming back next week, shout out to Brown. Brandon Carr had a good game this game. Very good game on playing Schuster. And Humphrey had a good game playing Antonio Brown. If Antonio Brown they get into the red zone or close to it, Antonio Brown's going to get a touchdown. So don't even worry about Antonio Brown getting a touchdown. I don't think he had 100 yards, and he had catches. He had catches. You know what I'm saying? And then he had a worse second half than he had the first half. You know what I'm saying? So, and that was on probably our second best cornerback. Humphrey. Then Brandon Carr was out there. Yo, that punch, the punch of after Schuster caught it, that punch, that shit to me felt like was very demoralizing. And Schuster had some, they kept going back to him as they should. They was supposed to, you know what I'm saying? But he still had some tough ones. He still had some tough catches to try and make, some stuff he didn't make, some plays he couldn't make. You know what I'm saying? The Ravens defense, man, they looking good, man. Ravens defense looking good. The real reason I wanted to make this video. I hate how people talk about my man Joe Flacco. If you a true diehard Ravens fan, Joe Flacco is the best quarterback we have ever had. The best. Now, if we'd have kept, my man that won the Super Bowl, not Hasselbeck, Trent Dilfer. If we'd have kept Trent, Trent could have gave Joe a run. Because Trent, that first year, he just wasn't turning the ball over, which was all we needed for that defense. And then as soon as the playoffs started, he started getting more and more into the playoffs, and the team started clicking as a team. And that sucked, because that same year, I think that next year was when the Houston Texans came and they took all our players. Not took all our players. We had to give up a lot of players. You know, we lost like Jamie Sharper, Jermaine Lewis, and a few other people. Key people, you know what I'm saying? But then, so we bring in Joe Flacco, right? And I've been watching Joe since Joe got here, because I'm like, all right, this guy's got a big arm. And you want your quarterback to have a big arm, regardless of anything. If he got a big arm, boom, you good. And Joe, when he got drafted, was one of the biggest arms in the league, like, at that time. So, and I think this was kind of before the NFL training. You know what I'm saying? So that means his arm's probably gonna get bigger, stronger, more accurate, right? And the biggest thing that the Ravens don't produce, we don't have good grown in-home receivers. That took a lot to get out. We don't groom receivers much. I think the best receiver we had from the start of their career was probably Torrey Smith. I don't put Jermaine Lewis there. Well, no, you got Quadri. Was Quadri start with us? No, I don't think Quadri started with us. I think we ended up drafting Quadri, if I'm not mistaken. But as far as a receiver, maybe Michael Johnson, maybe. But as far as for a while, we haven't been grooming a good receiver. So Torrey Smith was cool, but to a degree, Torrey Smith was a one-trick pony. You 9 routes, you know what I'm saying, or a 2-trick pony, the 9 and maybe a slant, you know what I'm saying. We had Anquan Bolden, but like I said, he wasn't homegrown. We drafted him, but we traded for him, if I'm not mistaken. No, I think we called him in free agency. I think that's when the fax machine snafu had happened. So we grabbed him, but we didn't even utilize him properly for the first couple years. Like, it took them a while to get him to figure out that this guy who, coming from the Cardinals, yo, he almost won a Super Bowl with the Cardinals, man. He was the guy. He was a real legit dude over there. He was going over 1,000 yards with another receiver there. You know what I'm saying? With Fitzy over there. He was, man, please. So getting to him, it took us forever to realize we had a good player in him. That was crazy. But something that I noticed early was the Ravens and how we were winning games and losing games. There was a season where it felt like every game that we threw the ball deep at least 2 times. Deep, I mean like on fly routes. I don't care if we caught it or not. He threw the ball deep. We would win that game. Our offense would have a good game, because there are times you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that if you don't throw the ball deep, teams start to pick on that. They're like, oh, yo, we can start playing more people in the box, because they like to throw the ball short. They don't like to throw the ball deep. So we going to send blitzes. That's going to give you easy picks because you have a fear of throwing the ball deep. Them using John Brown this year, John Brown this year. I don't like making predictions like this. I don't. I don't like making predictions. Period. Like, cause I just not the, because fate has what fate has for people. But this team, at least on the offensive side, is up there with the Super Bowl winning team, the Super Bowl of 2012, with Anquan Pitta, and we don't even have our number one tight end or our number one defender, our secondary defender, because Jimmy Smith, we don't have him yet, and we don't have our number one draft pick, who's supposed to be our best tight end. So and you know how Joe love his tight ends. Like Joe love his tight. Well, Baltimore loves their tight ends from Heap to Pitta, man. Like we love our tight ends. The Ravens could win the Super Bowl this year, and it's the Ravens could really win the Super Bowl this year. And I don't think nobody's really talking about it. But if not for that fumble, we might go 14-14, which is a record I think they say it hasn't been broken in the record for the last 40 years of 13 straight red zone touchdowns. Not scoring in the red zone touchdowns. Like touchdowns. We scored touchdowns until Alex Collins fumbled. That son of a bitch. I'm mad twice because he fumbled one at, well, I'm mad a couple times. Fumbled at like the 2. We was going to go up 21-3. You messed up my fantasy league. You messed up our streak. Like you messed up so many things on that one play. But you know the win is much more important than that play. This offense looks like it's crazy. The only real issue I'm having with the team might be the special teams because what is it? A second punt. Somewhere in the first half, we had to have that holding penalty on the joint, and the week before with the Broncos they blocked one, and they blocked a field goal. So even though it turned out that they should have called that, the guy was 3 yards back. He wasn't supposed to be able to run and jump over the guy. I think you got to be 2 yards. But these are things that like you can't expect people to pick up on right away like that anyway. But either way, somebody saw something. They saw something, a weakness in your in the special teams, and they've exploited it. So for them to almost get another block punt the next game, it's and a few times we've had let them boys run back some good yards on the special teams, at least off the kick return. So, and when your head coach is a special teams coach, these kind of things shouldn't happen. That was one reason why the Ravens were so good and were able to stay in a lot of games because our special teams is a beast. Like Sam Cook, right? The punter. I feel like I'm fucking his name up, but I think it's Sam Cook and Justin Tucker. Like arguably two. Like if there are two people that should retire Ravens, is those two people. They should especially Justin Tucker. If the Ravens ever get rid of Justin Tucker, that's like the Orioles getting rid of Manny Machado. We're not even getting to that trash, but that's trash. I'm pissed. I don't even talk about it. I don't. This is the most I've talked about it since it happened because I want to like the Orioles, and the Orioles were getting so good, and I don't know if they knew that this was going to happen because they got rid of Manny and Buck in the same year. Like it felt like a setup. Anyway, Ravens. This team feels good, man. I still don't like. I still do not like them putting Lamar Jackson in there to do that stupid shit. I don't like it. My homeboy made a good point. He said, he don't like them putting them in there. How they doing it, and they don't like him putting them in there when Joe's getting a rhythm. Like that's one thing you can't do with a, and you don't do it. That's what it pisses me off because he's a starting. You drafted him as a quarterback. He's a quarterback. You drafted him as a quarterback, and I got him out here running dive plays and rollout and not rollouts and sweep plays and shit. Like you don't treat your future quarterback like that. If you think that this guy is your future, you don't treat him like that. You don't put him out there like that. You don't put him out there to run plays inside the tackle. What the fuck? Like what the fuck? Like are you trying to get him hurt? You know it. You know linebackers like no matter how soft they try to make the game, a linebacker or a defensive player will try to take a quarterback's head off. They will try to do that. That's their job. These guys, a lot of these guys are still from that, that. Oh man, that's crazy. That Clay Matthews shit, that shit is bananas. Sacks are insane this year. That's dumb. Um, Sorry, I got caught up in that shit. But yeah, you don't treat your future quarterback like that. That's not how you. That's not how you do them. Um, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I would prefer for him to be on the sideline because if this is Joe's year, okay, so these first four games, all right, we seen it, we see it, we see what's going on, cool, whatever. I don't mind a play here or play there, but they got like 7 plays or something like that, and I'm like, that's too many. That's too many times he's on the field not being a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And that's too many plays for Joe off the field or not in the play, not being a quarterback. There's too many plays. And it should not happen. It should stop. It should stop because the offense is good enough. The offense is good enough, especially once we get our tight end back. But right now, the offense is good enough to carry its own weight with Joe Flacco throwing the ball and handing it off to Alex Collins and Buck Allen. And they put another rookie dude in. And I feel sorry for Alex Collins because Alex Collins might end up riding the pine sooner than you think because that's just how Harbaugh do. I felt like Harbaugh should have been gone. Harbaugh should have been gone. That Super Bowl kept him. Harbaugh should have been gone when he let go of Anquan Bolden for a 6th-round draft pick. That's when Harbaugh should have been gone. There's no fucking way you let go of Anquan Bolden, who literally was one of the top three, the key 3 players to win you that Super Bowl on your offense. It was Joe Flacco, it was Anquan Bolden, Dennis Pitta. Those were 3 of the people that were, and well, for 4 if you want to put, well, I'm not saying if you want to, you can put Jacoby Jones in there, switch him in there, because he was a big part of all that shit too. There were plays that those guys made in all those games that made Joe Flacco, what is it, 11 touchdowns, no interceptions, or was it 17 touchdowns, no interceptions, something like that, whatever the record is, it might be like 14, somewhere, but a lot of touchdowns, no interceptions, and just through the whole playoff run that year. That means you got good receivers running good routes, catching the ball. You got a quarterback throwing the ball to the receivers that there. This is what happens when the offense can click. And you got rid of a security blanket, in Anquan Bolden because he didn't drop shit. Anquan Bolden didn't drop shit. And then I think the next year, so you got rid of him, you got rid of Marcus Pollard, Ray left, Ray retired, Matt Britt retired, you wouldn't sign Ed Reed. I understand it was a money decision, but this is Ed Reed. This is Ed Reed. You pay that man. It was Ed Reed, dog. I understood it, but then I'm also like, it's Ed Reed. I wanted to keep him. So we lost a lot. We lost pretty much everybody that was a voice in the locker room. We lost the year after you win the Super Bowl. It's almost the same thing that happened with when Trent Dilfer won the Super Bowl. The next year, we don't have that quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So it's essentially the same things. I think that exactly that next year, Pitta got hurt, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I don't remember. But no, I know Pitta got hurt after that. And let's go into this, right? All the hate for Joe Flacco, which I don't get from Ravens fans. I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all from Ravens fans. Joe had like what 5 offensive coordinators in like 6 years. Like you could, he literally had what he had. He had Cam Cameron, my man that went and coached the Lions. I can't think. Jim Caldwell. He had somebody before Cam Cameron, I think, if I'm not mistaken. He had Broncos, yo, they went to the Broncos. He had did he have Marty shot? Didn't he have Marty or something? They had somebody else. Then they had to do after damn, what is your name? When we had a good running game. I can't think of his name, but the Broncos, yo, y'all know who I'm talking about. Then he got somebody else like now or something like that. And he's been in the league 10 years. He had like 6. That's like 6 people in 10 years. And you think that he's supposed to have a grasp on the offense? Everybody's trying to change something on him, and they're not letting him do what he's supposed to do. Right now, he has a good team. I think he's been with this offense for about a few years now. So for like a year or 2 now, maybe 3. So he's able. So hopefully they allow him to get super comfortable in the offense. And I don't think that we should be rushing. Good hit. I don't think we should be rushing Lamar Jackson to be a starter. Joe still has enough football left in him. He can play about 2 to 3 more years. If he wants to play 4, cool. I think that you should give him. You've given him a team. You can't give him this team and then let him walk away next year or get rid of him next year. It doesn't make sense. It's stupid. Like, you paid him the money because you knew what you had the whole fucking time. Joe Flacco, you don't win the Super Bowl the way Joe Flacco won the Super Bowl and be like, oh, that guy's not a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He is the prototypical quarterback that you want in the league. He's mobile, he's a big arm, and he's tall. Like, those are the things that you want in your quarterback. You want a good arm, because you can teach that. The accuracy can come. The accuracy will come. That comes with time. But you can't teach a big arm. You know what I'm saying? And you can't teach a big arm with mobility. And I'm not saying Joe Flacco was the fast, or at least when he came into the league, was the fastest guy. No, by far, no. But to think that boy couldn't scamper 25 yards on you, you dumb. He's done it before. You know what I'm saying? So he's everything you wanted in a quarterback. That's why they paid him the money. Like, don't play the game. Like, that's why I don't get how Ravens fans don't like Joe Flacco. I'm like, yo, don't play the game. Like, how are you watching the game? Are you watching everything, or are you just watching the games on TV? Like, you don't know what's going on. When Joe first got here, I want to say it was Jim Foster who was here. When they brought Jim Foster on to be the quarterback's coach, him and Cam Cameron was beefing because I think Cam wanted the offense to run through Cam, and Foster wanted the offense to run through Joe. Joe from Delaware, if I'm not mistaken, they came from a hurry-up offense, so he knows how to move the ball. He knows how to get the ball down the field. And I might have talked about this before, but I know I've talked about this before. Maybe not. I don't know about on here, but I've talked about it numerous times. It's like people just don't see it. That one year, oh, man, that year that Cam actually won. I think they gave him on the Super Bowl because we got rid of Cam Cameron. We ended up winning the Super Bowl. Them first 4 games, we did a lot of hurry-up offense, and Joe and them was killing teams. They were killing teams. They came out in the second half, and they went in the ran, and they went right, especially if they had the ball, they went right in, and they got the ball first. They went right in the hurry-up offense, right into it. And it fucks you up because people don't do that. People, they like, all right, yo, we're going to get back into an offense with these changes. No, we're going to come out, we're going to push the pace on you and see if you're ready. That's what Joe comes from. And then you trying to take that from him. I think Jim Foster saw that, yo, this is what Joe needs to do. We need to do this for Joe to help Joe. And something that one of the commentators said, he was like, yo, one of the best things they started doing is like getting these young quarterbacks with these young offensive coordinators, because you get these old stuck in their ways motherfuckers and they don't want to change and come up off there. Well, this has been working for me, but da 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 da. My nigga, if you ain't won a Super Bowl with your shit, then your shit ain't working for you. You dig what I'm saying? Like, cause that's the mountaintop right there. You know what I'm saying? That's the mountaintop. If you as an offensive coordinator have not, your offense has not, you haven't coordinated your offense to the Super Bowl, you should always be open to new things. And same thing for the defensive coordinator. If your defense hasn't put you into the Super Bowl, if you're at the NFL level, if it hasn't put you into the Super Bowl, and you, of course, you got to give people time. But these old heads, man, y'all, some of y'all got to get the fuck up off y'all shit. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I think that's about it for me. Yo. Oh, the Ravens look real good. Like I said, I really think that I think we can win the Super Bowl with this team. Y'all have a good one.